Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Almost a Cinephile. My name is Becca. Welcome back if you are returning people, and welcome if you are new. I like to talk about all things movies and physical media related. If that sounds like your jam, please subscribe below, like, and leave a comment if you fancy. Today is going to be what I watched in January. If you watched my last video, you will tell that I haven't actually changed my t-shirt or the background because I can't be bothered. I'm on a roll. I want to get a couple of videos hopefully out this week instead of just the one. So I am being incredibly lazy, and there's no illusion here. I am rolling continuously for the next video. So yeah, this is going to be what I watched in January. I watched 3 new films in January. I don't know what happened. Apparently I want to watch 150 new films to me this year, and we've started off with 3. Yeah, I was ill. I was very ill. I had a sinus infection. I had all sorts of things going on with me. I had that really long-term illness that lasted probably from October onwards. So almost 4 months of being on and off poorly. So I'm now back to myself. And I squeezed in 3 new films right at the end of this month when I finally started to get back to my usual self. So the first film that I watched finally was Pearl. I have seen X, I have seen Maxine. I saw enough clips of Pearl to really get a good understanding of like what it was about. A few things were also spoiled as well. I'm a little bit addicted to watching people reacting to horror films before I watch the horror film, which I know counteracts the point that you should probably watch the horror film first and then watch the reaction afterwards. I've started watching reaction channels back when I first watched Hereditary. I watched Hereditary and I kind of went like, somebody has got to know something about this film. So I'm YouTubing, I'm looking like, what are people's reviews and reactions to this crazy movie that scared the crap out of me and made me afraid of the dark for the first time since being a child. And the first time that I was ever afraid of the dark was when I watched The Mummy. That was terrifying. I didn't like it. I was very scared. But I watched Hereditary and I was like, how is nobody talking about this in my normal life? What does the online world think about this movie? And it opened up a whole genre of videos on YouTube of reactions, which eventually I would quite like to give a go, but I don't know quite how to do it. So I have got a couple of people that I love watching their reactions too, and I watch them, and then ever since I've stuck by them and watched them all the time. Some movies I'm not bothered about watching, and some movies I'm like, oh, maybe I should like have watched that before they reacted to it. And Pearl was one of the ones that I watched the reaction videos to and didn't actually watch it first. So that was my kind of fault. Yeah, it was my fault really. So I watched Pearl and I really enjoyed it actually. I as I said, a lot of things I saw coming, so I had to kind of, it wasn't really like a first viewing experience, but I really loved the kind of Technicolor, kind of Wizard of Oz-esque era of movie style that it was emulating. I thought that was really interesting and fun. I loved like the title card. I loved the ending kind of credits with the face, and it just gets more and more dreadful as we go on. So Pearl is the origin story of the old woman Pearl who was in X. I'm not going to spoil X for you, but Pearl is basically the origin story of one of the characters from X, and we go back and kind of find out why she went the way she did, and what kind of happened to her in her life. Pearl works on a farm with her, I don't know if her mother's Russian or German, and her dad who is kind of like a disabled, or I think he had a sickness that left him quite kind of vegetated, like a vegetable kind of guy. So he was just sitting in a chair the whole time, couldn't talk, couldn't kind of make any noises or sounds. A few times his eyes like would shake or open a bit more slightly, so you could get a little bit more emotion from him. But she had a very harsh kind of upbringing, a very soulless kind of lifestyle. It was very much work and wait for her husband who was in the war to get back. And we follow her through wanting to be a star. She wants to be in the pictures and in the movies, and has lots of dreams of grandeur for herself, but obviously things take a bit of a darker turn. As I said, I really enjoyed it. I love Mia Goth. I think she's incredible. Her voice in this, if you know her real voice, it's very high-pitched and very English. Her southern accent in this I thought was really good. I mean, I'm not from America. You guys who are from America can tell me otherwise, but I actually thought it was quite a convincing and really good southern accent. And we just go through like her weird things that happen because of the way she feels and thinks, and she kind of starts to lose it a little bit. And one of the monologues at the end of the film is one of the best ones I've seen in a really long time. It was really, really good. So I really enjoyed Pearl. I don't usually give star ratings, but I would give it like a 4. If it wasn't ruined, I would probably give it a 5. Yeah, I really enjoyed Pearl. The second film I watched this month was The Pope's Exorcist. Now, this little thing came out of nowhere. I just saw it on Netflix and I thought, you know what? I just fancy like a really silly horror film. And I'm not sure that's what I got particularly. The Pope's Exorcist is a much more of an action horror film, a little bit like The Mummy, and a bit like Indiana Jones, but kind of scary and religious. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good time. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought like it was giving me exactly what I wanted at that point in time. I just like Russell Crowe was, I thought, hilarious in it. Him on his little scooter with his little like Pope uniform on. He's not a Pope, what is he? He's a exorcist uniform. He's got like a I want to say vicar, but that's the English way of saying it. Father, his holy uniform, whatever he was wearing, with his little scooter and his little hat and his glasses. He looked so sick. It was so funny. I really enjoyed it. The Pope's Exorcist is about a family who move to a convent or like an old church that was left by their dad who died, and she was going to do it up and then sell it so that they could get the money and move back to America. To be honest, a lot of that makes no sense, because I think doing up a place in to the scale of what they had would have sucked up so much money that wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't have made any sense to do that. So they moved to Spain to do up this convent church thing that they were living in. And as the builders kind of dive into the depths of the property, they uncover something. It kind of possesses one of the children from the family, and they call the exorcist to come and exorcise said demon. I loved it. Hilarious, really funny. There was a lot of good jokes, a lot of good humour in it. I wouldn't say it was particularly horror. A few things were a little bit like, oh, but not really. And not really. I think my kids could have watched it and enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious and fun. And I'm not sure if that may be disappointing to some people, but to me, it was exactly what I needed. And I love when movies do that. I would totally add it to my collection, because I knew I would be able to pull it out on like a dark and rainy evening and just put it on and have a really good time. The last film I watched this month was Baby Girl. This stars Nicole Kidman and the guy from The Triangle of Sadness. I forgot his name. And this is basically about a woman who has a very, you know, elite job. She's got quite an interesting job. She's a workaholic. But she has something wrong with her. I don't know if she was brought up by a cult, or she mentions it a couple of times as a joke, but I don't really know whether or not that is the truth. And because of those experiences, has a few weird kinks sexually. This film was interesting. I liked where it could have potentially gone. I don't know if I enjoyed it as it was. I don't know who this movie was for or what it was really intended to say, and I feel like that's what left me like, okay, that was kind of kinky, kind of, you know, kind of sexy, but I don't really know what it was meant to say. So we follow Nicole Kidman's character. She has an intern who is the guy that's the kind of the main love interest, or the main interest that she has an affair with, essentially. He's like, he tames a dog that is going crazy at somebody and chasing them down the street, and he manages to calm the dog down. Nicole Kidman sees this and realizes that she really wants that to happen in her sexual life to her. She likes being told what to do, basically. And they form this relationship, this affair outside of her family, and kind of satisfy all kinky sexual desires throughout the movie. And then somebody else finds out, what the girl that kind of wants to have like a a promotion, like constantly is on her back for a promotion. I think she's the actress from Talk to Me, the main character from Talk to Me. She plays this girl that's like constantly wanting promotion, but Nicole Kidman never gets a chance to get there with her. And she finds out somehow because she's dating the guy that they're having an affair with, and blackmails her kind of, but not really. And then the guy goes in the end, and she's back with her husband, who she's talked to about her kinks, and then obviously they explore that together as a husband and wife, as they should have, because at the start he wasn't able to give her an orgasm like ever, and she was frustrated with that and found somebody else, blah blah blah. Yeah, there's a lot of like milk drinking scenes. I don't know if they were trying to be outrageous similarly to Saltburn, like outrageous scenes of seeing Nicole Kidman on all fours drinking milk from a dish or being patted like a dog. I didn't find it too outrageous because I didn't feel like it went that extreme in terms of the sexual graphic content, which is fine if that's not what they were interested in telling. But then I'm not also sure about what they were supposed to be telling, if that makes sense. Found it very confusing in terms of like, what was it meant to be saying to me as a viewer? To me, it was like she shed her needed to be dominated like skin and decided to be a strong, powerful woman like she was at the beginning, because that's how it kind of ended, to be honest. So I'm not really 100% certain on what it was really meant to say, which is a shame, because as I said, there was really, really good parts of the film. The cinematography was beautiful. I really liked Antonio Banderas in this, actually. I thought he was really good as a husband. I didn't like her as a character. I found her incredibly annoying and irritating and confusing, and she was all over the show in her headspace, and that made me feel like, my God, pick something, choose what you want. Because even when she was being quite sexual with this love interest, she wasn't really 100% for it. She kept like going back and forth in her head with what she actually wanted, and as a viewer that made it quite frustrating to watch as well. So I'm not 100% certain if I really loved Baby Girl, but it was interesting, and as I said, I'm glad I watched it, and I wanted to see what all the fuss was about watching Nicole Kidman drink milk from a dish, but I don't think it quite had the outrageous factor that Saltburn did when that came out. So those are the 3 films I watched this month. I'm really hoping to at least triple the amount of watching hours I get in for February. It's a shorter month, which worries me. But I have got a few things that I really want to get to. I really want to watch The Substance because I've heard nothing but amazing things. Nosferatu is on the top of my list of wanting to watch. I wanted to see it in the cinema, but I feel like I'm not going to get the chance to. And I don't have anybody that wants to go with me on that one. So I've got a few things that I really want to get to on my list this month coming. Now I feel a lot better and I don't want to go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night trying to get over illnesses. I'm back to myself, so we're going to try and steam ahead and try and get a lot more watched in February. But let me know what you guys watched this month. Any new movies? Have you seen the ones I've watched? What do you think? Who watched Baby Girl? What are your thoughts? I would love to know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.